So, welcome to today's video. We are taking a look at the Sennelier La Petite watercolor set, the one with the 12 half pans. This is a plastic set, comes with a little mixing area, and this part here where the lid is combined with the rest of the set is really a weak point. It did crack very easily when I first got it. So definitely a part where you have to be careful, otherwise the set will fall apart. We do get 12 half pans, but there are the color cakes are glued to the plastic part. There isn't really a pan which you could take out. So the colors are fixed like they are. You aren't able to change anything here. And I'm not really sure you could put a half pan into it if you ever empty out the colors. Probably the only way to get color inside will be to put some colors from a tube into it. The first super big minus point, in my opinion, is that we don't get any information about the pigments they've used. They rated every color with a 1, excellent, best in light fastness, and only one color is rated with a 2, good. But to be honest, if I don't get any information about pigments, I personally always handle the colors as non-light fast. So I would be very, very careful, because if you remember the Sennelier L'Aquarelle 14 half pan set I've reviewed, we did have a lot of non-light fast pigments used in the set, and that was the artist grade line. So I don't have high hopes for the set here that they used a lot of light fast pigments. So I definitely would always handle it as non-light fast. The first color was titanium white. It looks very opaque when it is still wet, but it dries very transparent, so it is more equivalent to a Chinese white, in my personal opinion. A white which is not very good for making highlights or coloring something in white on a artwork like a ghost or a moon or something like that. It is more like a mixing white, which is good for making pastels. So then we have our only yellow, primary yellow, and that is the next big minus point. The color selection they've chosen here is similar to the one from the L'Aquarelle set. We only have one yellow, and yeah, definitely there would have been better choices. I would have preferred at least 2 yellows in a set. With a set in the size of a 12 colors, I always prefer a split primary palette, so that we have a warm and a cool yellow, a warm and a cool red, a warm and a cool blue. And with only one yellow, we definitely don't get that one here. So yeah, next big minus point. The next color is just called orange. So yeah, that is the only color they've rated with a good. But like I said, I guess there are a lot of non-light fast pigments used here, because we do had a lot of them in the small artist grade set, and why would they choose better pigments for their student grade range? So the red I've swatched now, they call primary red. It is basically more like a cool mid-tone red. At least here I can say if I only get 2 reds and I'm more happy about cooler reds than I'm about warm reds, just because with a little bit adding of a yellow or an orange, you can easily turn a cool red into a warm red, but you can't do it the other way around. So it's nice that I not did like 2 warm reds or so. That's at least a good point. The next color is called Rose Madder Lacquer, and it is a primary magenta kind of color, but when I did swatch it and the part I did have on my brush definitely felt like there is a lot of filler going on in the color. So yeah, that was something which really was much more strongly than in the other colors so far. So, and with the next color, there starts the absolute worst thing going on. We have a few colors in the set, like 3, which is a big amount in my opinion from 12, which are really, really horrible. I mean, the quality of the paint so far isn't very good. We have massively going on a thing with fillers. They don't re-wet very well, so you have a lot of scrubbing to do. And this here is called Cobalt Blue Hue. I had to scrub so damn hard and so much that I get at least this amount of color out of the color. It doesn't get darker than that. And normally a Cobalt Blue Hue is ultramarine blue mixed with the white. And ultramarine blue is a very strong color and a very cheap as well. So yeah, it feels like we have like 95% of binder and filler and like 5% of pigment in it. The ratio of the pigment is so damn low. Never seen anything bad like that in a student grade paint, especially normally from a brand that big in the artist grade department. So yeah, I'm really honestly super disappointed with Sennelier with their student grade range, because when I look at other companies, student grade ranges like Schminke Academy, Van Gogh, or even the Cotmans, they are so good in quality, and we don't get that here. Not even close. The color here is called Primary Blue. It is definitely a phthalo blue color, and yeah, it doesn't get darker than that. If you ever have used a good phthalo blue, even from good student grade paints, you know that the color really gets super dark, and we don't have that here, so the pigment ratio isn't very high. I tried to do another layer to get it a little bit more darker, but yeah, it definitely didn't work out very well. When it's dried, it's very light for a phthalo blue. I definitely do think it is a pigment-based color, because in the cobalt blue we have a little bit of granulation spots. So because of the super low pigment ratio, it is of course very hard to spot, but it is there. So at least it is a pigment-based color, because that is a thing without the the granulation, I wouldn't be sure if it isn't just a dye-based color. Okay, so then we have the same odd choice for green here in the set that then we did have in the La Aquarelle set with the very dark green. It's called deep green here. At least this color gets dark. A little plus point. And then we have the very warm, light May green-like color, which they call yellow green. Like I said, we have the same colors, just with different namings in the other set from the artist grade range. Definitely not a good choice in my opinion, because especially the light warm green is a color which I know a lot of people just hate and don't like to use. So standard phthalo green would definitely, in my opinion, be the better choice, because it is a very good base for mixing natural looking greens. Also, that they don't include a standard ultramarine blue is a super big minus point in my opinion. Ultramarine blue is probably one of the most used colors at all. Doesn't matter if you're doing portraits or doing landscape or other stuff, animals, and so it is definitely a color which is so much used in all different types of art. If it's for the color on its own or as a shadow color or what else. That I didn't include ultramarine blue is really not good in my opinion. It's just such a basic color to have. The next color is called yellow ochre. At least there we have at least an okay color, I would say. The next color is, again, absolute catastrophe. Yeah, let's say it's absolutely terrible and the absolute worst burnt umber I have ever seen. And I have a lot of colors. I have a lot of sets. Even in the worst, cheapest, dye-based, cheap set, the burnt umbers are better than that this year. It doesn't get any darker than that. Normally a burnt umber is a dark chocolate brown color, and if it's dry it is barely visible brown at all. So it's, oh gosh, it's so bad. Have you ever seen a burnt umber that bad? And I had to scrub so much to even get that little bit of pigment out of the color. So yeah, it is absolutely terrible. I mean, what did they do? Hide the pigment, or what is this? And I mean, to be honest, iron oxides, which are used in burnt umber, that are one of the cheapest pigments we have. So yeah, it's the same like in the cobalt blue, like 95% of everything, and if you are lucky, you get at least 5% of pigment, or maybe only 2%. Yeah, and the Payne's Gray isn't really better, to be honest. It's also really bad. You need to do a lot of scrubbing and get that little amount of pigment you can see here, or paint. What else you want to call it? So yeah, really terrible. Never seen a burnt umber that bad, or a Payne's Gray that bad. I will, of course, like always, show you a close-up from the dried swatches. And I'm honest, I would so love to hear your personal opinion about this colors, about the set. What do you think about it? And I would absolutely love to hear if you have Sennelier La Petite. What are your experiences with the colors? And I don't own any tubes from Sennelier La Petite. Maybe they are better, I don't know. I just was so, how do you say it in English? Compulsed to not buy any more La Petite paints after that terrible experience with the brand, that I never tried the tube paints. I didn't want to invest any more money into paints that bad. But if some of you do have the tubes, I would love to hear your experience with them. Like I said, maybe they are better. Sometimes the pans and the tube versions are very differently. And especially if you have pans and tubes, I would absolutely love to hear how similar or non-similar they are, which are better, what are the qualities from each of them, just to know if the La Petite tubes are completely different. That definitely would be something I am highly interested in. Yeah, I really hope that the video was helpful for you. If you're asking me personal, if I would recommend a set, it's an absolute no, don't buy it. If I would recommend Sennelier La Petite, it is an absolute no, don't buy it. Just for an example, I've looked it up when I did the German version. This set costs in Amazon Germany at the moment 24 euros. For like 40 euros, like 16 euros more, I would get a full pan set from, I think with 28 full pans from Rosa Gallery, which is always my #1 recommendation for cheap and awesome artist grade paints. Their pan sets are such a good value for your money. Yeah, that is just the point where I say they also have smaller sets like 12 single pigment sets or something like that, which are of course probably more similar in price to this set. Why should I buy for 24 euros such terrible paints if I can have for a little bit more money absolute dream-worthy artist-grade paints? Yeah, absolutely a no-buy recommendation from my side. And yeah, like always, I hope that really helps you and it was interesting. And like always, a thumbs up or a follow is very much appreciated because it really helps me in the channel. So thank you so much if you're leaving a thumbs up or a follow. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day and to see you soon in one of my other videos. Until then, take care. Bye bye.